Guys, how sad this guy was looking out for Taub, and then at the end, he was just being a dick to Taub. What the f?
He didn't insist that I apologize to you. He asked me to take you off the case.
That's wild.
Biopsy his brain.
What the f, guys? How's your voice doing? A little better. I have like a cough at nights, but I think it's better today. We're getting there. Slowly getting better.
Does everyone that has been arrested by ICE agents have a criminal record like those you've described?
Absolutely not. And I said from day one, January 20th, we will prioritize public safety threats and national security threats. However, we will enforce law.
Where'd the long guns? Oh, they're all packed up outside. I need to clean them before I put it back up.
I may prioritize my family life over my work. Doesn't mean I ignore my work. We're going to force the immigration law. We've been honest about that from day one, especially in sanctuary cities. Well, we can't get the bad guy in the safety and security of a jail. They release him to the street. Well, we got to go to the street and find them. And when we find them, many times they're with others. Others that are in the United States illegally may not be a criminal target, but guess what? If ICE is there, the rest of that bad guy and other aliens are there, we're going to arrest them. That's what sanctuary cities get. They put us in the neighborhood, they force us in the neighborhood. This is what happens.
Well, that is everyone that has been arrested by ICE agents have a criminal record like those you've described?
Absolutely not. And I said from day one, January.
Do you ever think it used to be more funny before Vyvanse? No, I feel like it didn't. I don't think that affected my sense of humor much. What the fuck is this? Wildly underprepared. National Guard troops seen sleeping on floors in exclusive photos. Photos obtained by the Chronicle show California National Guard troops deployed by the Trump admin to LA packed together in what appeared to be federal building basements or loading docks. Maybe they're just chilling. Do you think there's any legs for an argument that we're screwed because the majority of people that show up to protests or rallies believe more in some form of radicalism than liberal democracy? Yeah, so I just yeah, it's hard because I guess I just sound like a contrarian on everything. But like people, like Hassan was going out to the protests and stuff, and I only tuned in for a little bit. I don't know, maybe there were different ones or whatever. But just because somebody goes out to a protest or just because somebody protests doesn't necessarily make it a good thing. Those people aren't protesting this administration. They're just out there with any opportunity to protest the United States. Like, that's it. Like, if you were to ask these people, like, if you were to go out and ask these people, like, what are you protesting? They're just going to say, like, immigration enforcement, period. Like, they'll say it's the same no matter which administration or whatever else. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like, is every single Democratic protest now in the future going to have these retarded fucking Palestinian flags showing up at it? Like, what the fuck does that even have to do with it? Yeah, I don't know. But the important thing is that there are like multiple reasons why this is really bad. One is that you don't want to form allies at protests with people that don't want anywhere remotely the same thing that you want. That's one. Number two is that these people, again, remember, are not practicing politics. They're going for engagement on social media, which leads into point three, and that there's no policy outcomes that these people are ever aiming towards. And I don't think that people are aware of, and fuck, we need to finish that World War II book. I need to get done with my sickness. I don't think people are aware of how strategic the organizing was in the civil rights era. Like, there are rooms full of people with MLK and other organizers where they're talking about like How do we organize? Where do we go? What's the most effective way to do it? What do we want the behavior of everybody to be? It's it's organizing. It's organizing. It's not just random people showing up, with their phones for social media pictures. And there's an explicit goal. There are concessions they're looking for. There's legislation they're looking for. There are specific asks that are there because you need them. Because you want the other side to have something to negotiate against as well, right? There has to be something. But all it's been it feels like for the past 20 years, all it's been is just outrage at aimed in no particular direction, and then that's it. President Donald Trump's rush to deploy California National Guard troops to Los Angeles has left dozens of soldiers without adequate sleeping arrangements, forced to pack together in one or more federal buildings, resting on the floors of what appear to be basements or loading docks, the Chronicle has learned. The state troops federalized by the Trump administration over the weekend to confront immigration protesters without the approval of Governor Gavin Newsom were wildly underprepared, said a person directly involved with the deployment, who asked to remain anonymous because they were not authorized to speak on the issue. Senior military leaders advised Monday that the California troops could continue sleeping on floors or outdoors until Thursday, at which point federal officials would decide whether to make more permanent lodging plans. By Monday afternoon, additional National Guard troops were expected to reach LA, upping the total from around 300 late Saturday to more than 2,100. This is why Hassan said, Dustin thinks Trump wouldn't manufacture fake protests and violence? No, he wouldn't, because they are too inept. It's time to address the optics cucks. Do you think the Mexican flags matter or not? I think I would need to hear a coherent argument for why they're good. I feel like the Mexican flags are cringe as fuck. I thought the point is that we're all Americans and we shouldn't be deporting people. I guess intuitively, I feel like if you're flying a Mexican flag, it's oh, okay, well, there's the Mexican, take him back to Mexico, bye. I don't know. That's my feeling. I don't what are you doing? I thought we were protesting Americans being deported back to, or being deported away to other countries. Not, I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I should see Hispanic people flying American flags, but I also don't know. I don't even know who is involved in most of these protests. It's probably people that don't give a fuck about America or don't give a fuck about any real political end or anything as well. So they're just there to shit on America, I guess. I don't know. I think flying, paired flags, an American and a Mexican flag together. I think stuff like that could be okay, but we're protesting Americans or people that live in America that are being deported back to another country, and we're protesting the American federal Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. This is a federal thing. So I don't know why. I don't understand. I would have to see the argument for just having just flying a Mexican flag seems cringe. Well, if the alternative is those people stay at home and don't do anything like most Americans, then that would be preferential. Just stay home. If you don't know what you're protesting for, you don't know what the fuck you're doing, then just stay home and let the people that know what they're doing do stuff. You hurt the cause. Well, you don't hurt the cause. You hurt a politically effective cause. But it's helpful for social media pics. A lot of people are getting sick fucking selfies out of these protests. Hassan is making good content out of it,
become an arrestor? Should he become an arrestor? Should he do it?
I would do it if I was Tom. I think it's great. Gavin likes the publicity, but I think it would be a great thing. He's done a terrible job. Look, I like Gavin Newsom. He's a nice guy, but he's grossly incompetent. Everybody knows. All you have to do is look at the little railroad he's building. It's about 100 times over budget. We're putting a flagpole over there. Under budget. I always do under budget.
What does your intel tell you about these people causing all the problems in LA?
Oh,
Are they people ICE is trying to deport, or are they professional
the
agitators?
people that are causing the problem are professional agitators. They're insurrectionists. They're bad people. They should be in jail. Thank you.
Did he call for Gavin to be arrested here? Was it in the beginning? I can't hear shit.
Become an arrestor. Should he
Oh, is it the Homan said to come and arrest him? Is that?
become an arrestor? Should he do it?
I would do it if I was Tom. I think it's great. Gavin likes the publicity, but I think it would be a great.
I'm not even putting this in. I can't hear this shit. I don't know what the fuck this is. I need to know what he's responding to. I need to know what it was before. This is fucking retarded. It's a dog shit tweet. Look at this comment on some saying they should use American flags at the protest. Mexican flags are good/neutral because some people are Mexican Americans and are being targeted by ICE just for being brown. It's at least a symbol that works for that. And I think you need to listen to your own arguments about concern trolling/optics cucks. We can't get bogged down with what might be bad when the other side is worse, especially in this situation where reporters are getting shot and people are being, then fly a pair of flags. Like, flags are important. Like, it's not, this isn't, like, you talk about like optics cucking. A flag is literally only there for optics. The whole point of flying a flag is to signal like what it is you believe in. And so if you've got a bunch of conservatives claiming we're being invaded by Mexicans, and then a whole bunch of people are, like doing basically insurrectionist behavior with Mexican flags, I mean, like, it's just like, why the fuck? I don't know. Reuters source for that video. I really don't give a fuck about you guys posting quotes in chat. Show me the original video. I don't know why you think I would ever care about this. If you have a longer video or an original video, I'll watch it. I'll quote the article at least. Don't you agree that immigration is good for the country? That's what they're protesting for generally. Aren't you doing what you accuse the left of doing often and dividing the cause? The problem is that the problem is that like ICE as an organization is a good organization to have. Laws around immigration and the border is a good thing to protect. Like, what we should be advocating for is comprehensive immigration reform, probably some form of amnesty for the people that are here, because that's the only realistic outcome, and then some like more reasonable border policy. But the messaging can't be illegal immigration is good, all illegal immigrants are good, and nobody should be deported ever, and ICE is inherently like an evil organization that needs to be disbanded. Like, this is just like a slightly less retarded version of ACAB. It's just stupid. It's aimless. Most Americans won't support it. There's no like coherent action plan for like what it seems like protesters are even calling for. Like, but I mean, if people want to go. Do you think the messaging on the left has been dumbed down because of the constant dumbed down messaging from right that gets perpetuated? No, the messaging on the left is fucked because the people in charge of the messaging aren't in charge of getting people elected, I think. If they spit, we will hit. What is a good example of an American protest? I feel like the civil rights era, from my very limited understanding of U.S. history, the civil rights era seemed to be the most pointed, best form of like targeted protests with specific asks in mind, with specific organizing principles. But I'm sure prior to that, I'm sure there were other great examples of protests. I'm sure women's suffrage had a lot that I just don't know about. The Boston Tea Party was the targeting of an explicit good that was dumped to protest an explicit policy. The catastrophic Gavin Newsom inspired riots. What? The insurrectionists have a tendency to spit in the face of the National Guardsmen, such women and others. These patriots are told to accept this. It's just a way of life, but not the Trump admin. If they spit, we will hit. Okay. Do you remember the Rodney King riots? Wasn't I like 4 when those happened? Wasn't that 92? Even MLK recognized why people riot. Yeah, and he told them not to constantly. MLK recognized how absolutely fucking cancer, AIDS, violence, and rioting was to any particular cause. It's why they policed the fuck out of their own organizers and protesters. These were at 92. I was 4 years old, so no, I don't remember these. 3 years old. What do you think of the Occupy Wall Street protests? The same thing. They were aimless protests that had no direction. They weren't making any specific policy aims. They didn't have any coherent organizers. They didn't really seem to understand what they were asking for. Well, what is this?
And I'll say, look, it has plenty of warts, and we're all trying to change those for sure. But the longer we continue this fight, the harder it is for us to actually do what we all want to do, which is make a difference in this country again. So I deeply respect you, David. I too was looking forward to working with you, but this has created a situation, and I'll be very honest with you, for the first time in my 100 days on this job, and Jessica knows this, the other night I said to myself for the first time, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And partly not because of the stress and all the naysayers, right? I'm used to that. I've spent 14 years as a chair. I'm used to getting beat up on. But, you know, this is really...
It would appear that the protests are doing what they should be doing, which is making ICE's job very, very hard to accomplish. If your goal is to just make ICE's job hard to accomplish, then you're an insurrectionist. And I think you should be arrested and treated as such. Federal prison, felony, I don't know, is it whatever happens for people that are engaged in treason or insurrection? Like that can't be the thing that we think that we can't enforce like the border, or we can't do immigration policy. The issue right now is that you have Donald Trump is directing ICE to act in an illegal manner. That's an issue. I guess if you want to circumvent ICE insofar as that's concerned, then fine. But like the fixation needs to be on, it has to be on the administration. It can't just be general grievances about ICE or general grievances about, I don't know, government. It's undirected and stupid. If you're mad at what I'm saying now, just try to remember these words 2 weeks from now when we've moved on from this and absolutely nothing has changed and there's no legislation and there's nothing being talked about to change anything substantively and all of this is cleared up and we've moved on to the next thing to be mad at.
Likewise, incredible.
This is the DNC chair, Ken Martin, talking to David Hogg. Wait, so what? Hold on. I need to listen to this again.
Partly not because of the stress and all the naysayers, right? I'm used to that. I've spent 14 years as a chair. I'm used to getting beat up on. But, you know, this is really everything, you know, from this election, this credentials report, and how Malcolm's been treated in this, to, you know, the fact the election itself, how Shasti and Gina were treated in this. I'm just quite frustrated to be in this position, because what you've done, whether you like it or not, or know it or not, David, is no one knows who the hell I am, right? I'm trying to get my sea legs underneath of me and actually develop any amount of credibility so I can go out there and raise the money and do the job I need to put ourselves in a position to win. And again, I don't think you intended this, but you essentially destroyed any chance I have to show the leadership that I need to. So it's really frustrating.
Damn. Rip. He mad.
Jane.
What's a good protest look like? Does protesting peacefully do good if the government is acting illegally? A good protest has organizers, and they have specific concessions that they're looking to get, and they're looking to get these concessions from a specific person. That's what you want. You have a person that you need to have a person that you can negotiate against. So obviously, some kind of like organizer leader who's making like a specific actionable thing, an ask that you have. And then you've got a group of people that feel strongly about the cause and are rallying behind it, basically. There's a bunch of like more minor tactics that go into protests or whatever. I wouldn't know all of these. I don't do any of this, but without that broader stuff, it's just a bunch of people that get mad. Somebody keeps saying sometimes it's good to just show dissatisfaction as well, especially now with everything Trump is doing. Maybe they should call for Trump to be impeached. If they wanted to center it on an impeachment or whatever, then sure, at least that's an actionable thing, sure. But no, just general dissatisfaction is not good. It doesn't do anything. That's why we just trade presidents from administration to administration and nothing actually gets done. Why is Trump so fucking immune to criticism? Even when the left comes out to protest injustice, they basically never mention him, because the far left doesn't care about Trump. They just hate the United States. I don't know how many more times I can say this. All right, what is this? Trump attends Invest America Roundtable at White House. This has nothing to do with what's going on right now, no?
To stop waste and fraud, a 3.5% remittance tax, and more. And it's just a part of that. The One Big Beautiful Bill is among the most important pieces of legislation in our country's history. I don't think there's ever been anything bigger.
The QA section is all about California.
Came here and
Absolutely.
They took it all away from you, and you started, and you've become one of the biggest anywhere in the world. What a great story that is.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Congratulations.
President. And we wish you all the success there.
Thank you very much. We'll need it. We're going to need it for that.
They're tough negotiators.
They're great negotiators.
Yes.
Among the best. Look at
Yes.
you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Darren. Jason, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to first start off by thanking you for your leadership.
Oh, actually, I would rather watch that. True. Would you say CNBC? Do you think protests would be best if they were organized by the DNC with known speakers, or more of a grassroots vibe? I mean, grassroots is the best, but the problem is there are no grassroots Democratic people now. It's all leftists and conservatives. All the grassroots people on the conservative side are trying to cash out into some kind of Trump support, and the grassroots people on the left are all fucking commies and losers, unfortunately. MSNBC. Is that what I was looking for? Or is that what I was looking? Or wait. No, I looked for CNBC. Would you be against the Vietnam protests in the 60s? What did I say that would implicate me being against the Vietnam protests in the 60s? Were people protesting U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War and they wanted us to not be in the Vietnam War anymore?
The governor is here. He's been in town for quite.
What responsibility do you attribute to the DNC for the lack of grassroots movements in support of them? I think the Democrats, I think liberals are pretty fucking spineless. I think it's, I mean, like, in a way, it all, just analyze it all as a YouTuber. In a way, it all comes back to that, like, the online shit. And the way that, like, if people to the left of you are being crazy, you should be able to just, like, call them crazy and say, hey, it's time for you to get the fuck out. Like, you're insane. Like, leave. But for some reason, we can never do that. So when you've got, you know, when you've got trans women online talking about how they're getting periods, it's like, this is fucking loony shit. Like, go do this somewhere else. Like, this doesn't have to be a part of our political movement. Or when you've got, you know, like MLs talking about how, you know, we need revolutionary speech. Like, leave. Like, just leave. Get them out. Like, we don't need these people. They're not helping us. They don't help. They're not good allies. They don't help us in anything. They don't want to do, like, let them go farm Instagram pics somewhere else. Also, remember, when you read messages like this, Destiny's for the status quo. He's a poor boy at heart who's benefiting from the system now, so of course he wants to support it. This is exclusively said by white people who grew up rich in this country and are just repeating shit that they heard from other radicalized classmates at whatever fucking private university that their parents are paying for. Every single time. It is always these people. It is never anybody with an ounce of actual political experience anywhere, ever. It's always people who have zero political goals in mind and they just want to make as much noise as possible because they farm epic likes on their Instagram feeds and everything.
The governor is here. He's been in town for quite some time, and tonight he's saying that he's going to file a lawsuit against the Trump administration over its decision to deploy the California National Guard without his approval. Now, the governor spoke with MSNBC earlier this evening where he called.
I'm inside the Emergency Operations Center run by the County of Los Angeles here with Governor Gavin Newsom. Governor, thanks for joining us live on MSNBC.
Good to be with you.
So this is, as I said, the Emergency Operations Center. I wonder how you would characterize the events that are unfolding in Los Angeles right now. Is it an emergency? Is it, Fox News is calling it the LA riots? Is it a peaceful protest? What's happening and what are you seeing?
Well, I mean, look, Donald Trump has created the conditions you see on your TV tonight. He's exacerbated the conditions. He's, lit the proverbial match. He's putting fuel on this fire ever since he announced he was taking over the National Guard. An illegal act, an immoral act, an unconstitutional act, and we're going to test that theory with a lawsuit tomorrow.
Well, I was going to ask you that. Sorry to interrupt you, but Governor, so that's news. If you're going to sue the administration, tell me a little bit about it. Give us a preview of this lawsuit.
Well, under his executive order, it specifically notes, and under what the DOD did, is they had to coordinate with the governor of the state. They never.
I think you're basing this too much off of the LA protests that have gotten the most attention from crazy far left people. I know organized protests are going on across the country through Mobilize. There is one big one on June 14th across the country that out. All the major protests that Democrats have been a part of have seemed, I say Democrats, but like the left or whatever, have just seemed pointless. We got, like, well, look at the whole BLM ACAB shit. Literally nothing good came from that. All it did was hurt us. Nothing good. That was like the largest Dem protesting in fucking how long? I think from before that, it was the Occupy Wall Street shit. Nothing really came from that. Maybe the Consumer Financial Protection stuff from Elizabeth Warren, maybe. But like in general, like nothing huge came from that. The problem is these people are just not politically oriented. Compare this to what Republicans do. Look at January 6th. That was one protest on one day organized by the President of the United States that came within a hair's like distance of overthrowing the democracy of the United States of America from one protest that the president himself organized, right? Like, there's just no comparison. Like, what were those people there for? You had a bunch of people that went to one place, Washington, D.C., to the Capitol. They were there to protest the results of the election because they wanted to engage in an insurrection and overthrow the government of the country and install their own leader. And they were focused from top to bottom the entire time. They'd heard rhetoric and everything about it for a year. They had one place to go to, one event that they had to protest. They were all there on the right day to do a specific thing. It was just like, there's just no comparison. And then look at our grassroots organizers. Who do we have on the left? Some fucking black separatist Nation of Islam, like trans wheelchair, Olympian or whatever, who's going to come out and talk about how the best way for black trans liberation in the United States is to be found through the children of Gaza. Like, that's our protesters. Meanwhile, on the right, you've got Charlie Kirk, who's made 7,000 fucking college campus visits in the past 2 weeks, who has a direct line to Donald Trump and is organizing like one of the like, it's just like there's no comparison between how the left and the right engages in politics. The left just the protesters and the rioters and the YouTubers and the alternative media sphere just don't engage in politics. They're just doing something completely different. It's so fucking annoying. There was This was front and center. I just didn't realize it then. But it's funny because actually you can hear this argument 3, 4, 5 years ago, how I would constantly complain over and over again. I didn't have the best language for it, but I would constantly complain, why are you crying so much about these kids on college campuses? They're not politically powerful, right? I'm complaining about MAGA, the far right. You're complaining about the far left. The far right is literally everybody in Congress now. The far left had the Justice Dems maybe, and they don't even like most of them anymore, right? Why are we complaining about these people? And I used to complain about all the time about that dynamic, and then now we've gotten even further into it where somehow the far left is the voice of the Democratic Party, and the far left doesn't support the Democratic Party or care about politics at all. They just want to farm social media feeds. And meanwhile, the far right is like flipping as many levers of power as possible to, you know, become authoritarian dictators in the United States. It's insane. If you're so politically inclined and savvy, why don't you organize a protest? Why aren't you doing more than just streaming? Oh, never mind, you got me. True, my bad. I'm not doing everything, so forget everything I said. Actually, this is based. I hope I see more people with blue hair out here. We'll just watch this.
Coordinating with the governor of the state. I've worked with the National Guard. We've deployed the National Guard. We did 3,000+ folks have been doing logistics work and fire recovery work, and they're fighting the fires, the rattlesnake teams. We did the same back in George Floyd with no
As material conditions on the ground get worse, do you think things will change with suburban leftists? I understand what you're saying, that they're not actually helping the Democratic Party, but we need as broad a coalition as possible right now. You don't need as broad a coalition as possible. That's such bullshit. You don't have to incorporate toxic elements into your movement in order to make your movement work. If that's the case, then your movement sucks and it should fail anyway. You should have ideas that are broadly popular enough that you don't have to appeal to other authoritarians on the left in order to make your movement work. If that's the case, then fuck your movement. I don't want to be a part of your movement. I'd rather be a fucking Nazi or whatever the fuck else. I would rather be a Nazi because at least that's more honest than to be some organization that breaks bread with fucking communists and tankies. Fuck that. I'd rather just let's just be honest about what we believe in instead of playing that fucking retarded game. Fuck that. That's so stupid. And it shows you have no conviction or belief in your ideas as well. If you think the only way to make your shit work is to partner with revolutionaries who would see you hanged if they had the opportunity to, fuck that. That's stupid.
Work when they're fighting the fires.
I think the big thing you talk about the suburban leftists is like, who do you organize around or who do you gather around except for like radical leftists? Because nobody seems to have the balls on the left to like stand up to the more crazy people on the left. Like nobody actually has the balls to be like, hey, like the trans athlete stuff is like, this is kind of goofy, guys. Like, let's just move on from this. Or hey, socialism and communism, like, how about we just talk about like some redistribution or some higher tax brackets? Or hey, you know, maybe we don't have to be, maybe America isn't like the most evil country on the face of the earth, and it's okay to support people like Ukraine. Like it's dumb.
1,000 folks have been doing logistics work and fire recovery work, and they're fighting the fires.
It's not about doing everything, but what's to stop you from lending your hand to strategize and organize movements? Bro, I've done probably more than any other streamer when it comes to donating time, money, and audience to organizing efforts and shit in the past. I can't do anything right now because I've got some lunatic accusing me of being a fucking e-rapist, so I have to wait until my court case does that, because obviously nobody's going to do anything with me while they're waiting for for this person to tire themselves out and crawl off into whatever fucking hole they're going to be in for the rest of their life. So I'm waiting for that right now. But I have my credentials. I don't know why you would even try to attack me on that. Have you ever done any kind of organizing shit? Yes, more than any other leftist dipshit fuck streamer you've ever watched in your entire life. So yeah, so I don't know why you're asking me that question.
The rattlesnake teams. We did the same back in George Floyd with no problem working collaboratively in a mutual aid system with local law enforcement. But there's a protocol, there's a process. He didn't care about that. And the worst part, he completely lied. He said in a tweet that everything's now safe, everything's fine. Is that the case, Mr. Trump? He said because he deployed the National Guard. The Guard hadn't even been deployed when he said this. It's Orwellian. Simply lying to people. Unconstitutional, illegal act. His mess. We're trying to clean it up.
You're saying that the President of the United States has made the situation on the ground here in Los Angeles less safe. What do you know about immigration enforcement today? Has there been any ICE raids in the city today? Are they coordinating with you on that at all? Are they giving you a heads up?
Of course they're not coordinating. That said, we were told in just a recent briefing just a few minutes ago there was small activity in the county and not in the city proper. But look, you made a point a moment ago. These images are unacceptable. These kids on the car, The folks that are taking advantage of this, these aren't peaceful protesters, a lot of these folks, a lot of great people out there doing the right thing. But you get these insurgent groups coming in, sort of these anarchists that are in there to create real problems. And they're just playing right into Donald Trump's hand. And they need to be called out. They need to be arrested. It is wrong to destroy other people's property, and it is wrong to create the conditions that only exacerbate this. But Donald Trump, at the end of the day, is the sponsor of these conditions.
Let me give you the opportunity. You mentioned that there are people out there causing mischief and mayhem. What's your message to those people who are out there tonight? Not the peaceful protesters that are out there protesting for the rights of immigrants, but for the people that are doing damage to buildings, to law enforcement out there.
Well, they're doing more than damage to buildings and to property. They're potentially damaging the very foundation of our...
Like, the whole goal for deploying the National Guard was to try to get people to do violent protests. Like, that was literally the entire point. So if you are out there, you know, setting cars on fire, running around with your retarded fucking Palestinian flag for some place that you can't even find on a fucking map, I mean, you're just playing into Trump's hands. But if you were to tell these people that, they'd be okay with that, because it's all acceleration is up to them anyway. At the end of the day, they're not even affected by the shit that's going on.
You know, republic. The democracy is in the balance. I mean, you're seeing these authoritarian tendencies now are being acted out by this administration. And we're case in point as it relates to nationalizing, federalizing the National Guard, threatening now to put in Marines. So I hope these people would pause and just consider. Now, some of them, they want that kind of chaos. Some ways, they're adjacent to where Donald Trump is. But the peaceful protesters, we want to keep them safe. We want them to exercise their fundamental rights. We want to keep those that are enforcing the laws in a respectful and responsible way also safe. But Donald Trump needs to pull back. He needs to stand down. Donald Trump is inflaming these conditions. This is Donald Trump's problem right now, and if he can't solve it, we will.
He continues to, as always, hit you hard publicly. Just 10 minutes ago, he put out another Truth Social telling you and the mayor to apologize to the people of Los Angeles. You guys go at it pretty hard publicly, but I know you talk privately. Have you spoken in the last couple of days to the president about any of this?
Yeah, we talked for almost 20 minutes, and this issue never came up. I mean, I kept trying to talk about L.A. He wanted to talk about all these other issues. We had a very decent conversation.
When was this?
This was late Friday night, I think about 1:30 plus his time.
After the protests had started here?
After the protests, and he never once brought up the National Guard. He's a stone-cold liar. He said he...
I feel like endlessly critiquing these rioting retards is something to further Dem's message. I've lived through the Arab Spring, and there was a lot more looting, mugging, and chaos than what's happening in LA, and people were somehow fine with it because the broader message, deposing of Ben Ali, was galvanizing enough to make people turn a blind eye. I feel like you guys don't stress the unifying message enough, no? What is there a unifying message? So here's a question, all right? And if somebody wants to bring up, because Hassan went to one of these today, if we were to go and look up Hassan's stream, when he's at the protest, and somebody can link me a timestamp if you want, are we going to hear people rallying against Donald Trump and the Republicans and MAGA more, or are we going to hear them rallying around business owners and capitalists and billionaires and the corrupt two-party system and the lobbyists and the donors and the special interests? Because if it's the latter, these people aren't on your team. They're just shitting on America. They just want to hate America. That's it. They're not like, okay, what's your solution for everything? Like a socialist revolution? What do you even want to do? It's just that both sides are the same and we hate everything. So, I mean, like what? But somebody can link me the timestamp. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's actually a lot of pointed criticism at Donald Trump on the way that he's weaponizing ICE. So who knows? I don't know. Shoot me a link if you want.
He did. Stone cold liar. Never did. It was a very civil conversation. I've always wanted to approach engagement with the President of the United States in a respectful and responsible way. But there's no working with the president. There's only working for him. And I will never work for Donald Trump.
Did you mention at all to him in that phone call on Friday night the types of raids that were happening in your state on Friday? You know, there are reports that and video of enforcement operations happening in ways that they haven't traditionally. ICE officers going to Home Depots around Los Angeles and picking off day laborers. Did you bring that up with him?
The conversation started with the frame of what's happening in L.A. He immediately pivoted to other interests and other things.
Do you think he was aware of what was happening in Los Angeles?
I think I'm more than aware. And obviously, he was setting this up to take these additional steps.
This was a setup.
And well, I'm not saying he was setting things up Not saying it was a setup, but clearly they were in the process of moving to these next steps because out of nowhere, just a few hours after that conversation, he moves to pull the trigger under this construct under Title X and then created and exacerbated the conditions that are persisting today.
This is your authority normally to deploy the National Guard here. Right. You did it. We were together after the fires, and those National Guard troops have been out all across Los Angeles working to rebuild and recover this city. How did you find out that the President of the United States was going to usurp your authority and deploy your National Guard here in California?
I got on Twitter.
Call from a staffer. No heads up whatsoever. Wow. And again, we're here to support local law enforcement. There's a mutual aid process. Local law enforcement had no needs. They were not requesting any additional resources. I've got 100 now. I have 175 CHP officers, technically trained officers, tactical teams to address Donald Trump's mess. We are here to support local law enforcement, the sheriff's office, LAPD, but they didn't need that support. He made this up. This is a manufactured crisis in order to get under the tent to start to stretch credulity and to begin the process of moving inevitably towards a constitutional questioning crisis around posse comitatus. And it's, I think, inevitable. That's where he's going.
Tom Homan, the border czar, said to me yesterday he did not rule out literally arresting you, nor Mayor Bass, if you interfere in his work. He said you hadn't yet.
He's a tough guy.
Destiny, check what you're saying. Mexicans are humans that have rights, and we need to protect those rights against unconstitutional. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I don't care. I don't know what you're talking about right now. Right now, when we talk about people being deported unlawfully, the issue that we're having is a lot of this is around people who are literally American citizens. If you're here and you're a Mexican and you've got like a green card or some other recognized form of documentation, yeah, your rights should be protected as well. I've never said anything different. I don't know where you would come away with the impression that I don't think that people from other countries who are here shouldn't have their rights protected as well. But I mean, like, fundamentally, this is like a big American problem with an American institution right now.
Doesn't he do that? He knows where to find me. But you know what? Lay your hands off 4-year-old girls that are trying to get educated. Lay your hands off these poor people who are just trying to live their lives, man. Trying to live their lives, paying their taxes, been here 10 years. The fear, the horror. The hell is this guy? Come after me, arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy. You know, I don't give a damn. But I care about my community. I care about this community. The hell are they doing? These guys need to grow up. They need to stop. And we need to push back. And I'm sorry to be so clear, but that kind of bloviating is exhausting. So, Tom, arrest me. Let's go.
The perception is there's a lot of theatrics happening out there. Mayor Bass told me that she spoke directly to Tom Homan. Has he reached out to you? Have you reached out to him?
No.
No communication whatsoever?
No, it's direct communication and back and forth with Susie Wiles and with the president in a phone conversation.
There obviously are pockets of violence out there on the streets. How concerning is the violence in Los Angeles tonight? How widespread is it, too? You're monitoring it.
Yeah, we're monitoring. I mean, I think that's self-evident. We're here with LAPD. We were here with Mayor. We're here with the Sheriff Department, my National Guard, that we're still working in command with, and others monitoring the situation in real time, providing whatever resources we possibly need. We're calling out the violence, period, full stop. It's wrong. And we're calling for the President of the United States to rescind his order so that he can clean up his own mess.
Stephen Miller, other people have used the word insurrection about the activity on the streets of Los Angeles.
Yeah, this is just there.
How do you effectively protest authoritarianism when most people don't know or feel any different post-election? Then you point out the particular things. I don't know. You point out the abuse that Donald Trump shouldn't be sending the National Guard. He doesn't have the authority to do it, right? I don't know. Protest the National Guard. Any movement of the National Guard. Be outside wherever they're, camped out at. Be outside. Don't deliver food if you're a DoorDasher or whatever, and you get an address where they're national. I don't know. Shit like this would be more effective. If you don't know how to protest authoritarianism, you don't know what that looks like. Then in that case, then you just fuck it. Then just be a Nazi or be a MAGA or whatever. If you're too stupid to defend a democracy, you don't deserve to have it. And we should just move on to the next whatever the next fucking form of government is. If people are too fucking retarded in an era where more information is available at your fingertips at any point in human history, if you're too stupid to understand how the system works, then clearly the system has fucking failed, and we'll go to the next thing, I guess.
They're trying to incite violence. They're trying to impose the kind of rhetoric that only makes the conditions worse, that quite literally put people's lives at risk. And they're intentionally and knowingly doing that.
All of this is about immigration enforcement and the type of well, go ahead, feel free to
No,
disagree.
I mean, I know, and I don't mean even to cut you off. I think it's about something.
That's how the protests started. The first day of protests were surrounding an ICE facility and preventing them from doing their job. I don't know who you're talking to Scrub King. I don't know why you tagged me. I don't know why that message is pointed at me. I have no idea. I think it must have been a mistag, I guess. Okay.
Much more. This is about authoritarian tendencies. This is about command and control. This is about power. This is about ego. My way or the highway. This is a consistent pattern of practice, of recklessness. This guy has abandoned the core principles of this great democracy. He's threatening to go after judges he disagrees with, cut off funding to institutions of higher learning. He's on a cultural binge. He's rewriting history, censoring historical facts. I mean, this is something completely different. And this is part of that ongoing play that is unfolding in front of our eyes. It is a serious moment under the guise of immigration, but it's much deeper than that.
You know, I've reported with and about you throughout your tenure here. I've not seen you as angry as I feel like I've seen you here. Do you think that there's a way out of this? Where does this go from here? What happened?
He needs to stand down. The President of the United States needs to stand down. He needs to rescind this order, and we'll work together to clean up his mess.
Did he respond? You asked for him to rescind the order earlier today. Did they respond at all?
Of course not.
Nothing.
No, it's more lies.
You have to choose a Dem nominee right now. Options are Newsom and AOC. Who is it? Probably AOC. I don't mind Newsom, but at some point where you have to stop being reactive and we need to be a little bit more proactive. Like, I appreciate that Newsom has come around on some things, but it can't be after years and years and years of governance and politics. I feel like AOC is a bit more forward-looking. I appreciate Newsom for what he's done. But
and statements. Look, again, you see me out there in the tarmac with the president. We had a very cordial conversation on Friday night. I'm not looking to find.
Why is Newsom against the National Guard here? Isn't this a bad look? Optics are important. Because the National Guard, because they didn't need it. There were no huge disturbances when the National Guard was called. There was absolutely no need to deploy it here, and the deployment of the National Guard was done in contravention of the will of the governor of the state, which isn't how it's supposed to be done unless there's like an active invasion in the United States. The governor has to request the National Guard. The president can't just unilaterally force the National Guard onto the state. This is the state of California. LAPD is what? Do you think the second largest police force in the U.S.? Largest police forces, departments, USA. You think the LAPD was what? Didn't have enough people to respond to a couple protests? Like, give me a fucking break. Oh, Chicago is second. LAPD is third. There was no indication that the National Guard was needed here. Trump is literally doing it to bait. Trump is baiting. He's rage baiting. Unironically, he's rage baiting with the National Guard.
The president. We had a very cordial conversation on Friday night. I'm not looking to find a crowbar to put in the spokes of his wheels every day. Yeah, we'll stand tall and firm in terms of defending our values, but I want to find areas where we can work together. But you go after vulnerable communities, you go after kids. I was just down in Compton School District 3 days ago, and they were talking to me about this 4-year-old kid. They don't even know where she is. This is a serious moment. The hell is going on? Threatening real people. These are friends. These are people we know.
Do you think protests are even viable anymore? Yeah, listen, there's a saying that good artists copy and great artists steal. We should honestly just look at the right and say, well, how does the right protest? What does the right do? And then copy that. Like, look at the trucker protest in Canada. Trudeau almost had to wheel out some fucking Insurrection Act shit to start sanctioning people's bank accounts to stop that. They shut down the entire Pacific Northwest economy for a few days. It was crazy. The right is just so much more pointed and so much more politically effective in how they protest and when they riot and everything. It's just, we don't have that.
Members of our community destroying industries in the state. You claim to care about ranchers and farmers? You claim about construction industry? I mean, these are the folks that you're going after in the most uncivil and indecent way. And that's where I have a problem. I have no problem going after criminals. We've coordinated and collaborated with ICE. Over 10,000 transfers that have been part of my administration, so I don't need to be lectured by these guys that we don't coordinate and collaborate on violent criminals.
California State Prisons does hand over inmates to ICE.
And my legislature, with respect, it's not an indictment, but I've had to veto legislation for them to try to stop me from using that authority. So when these guys say we don't go after criminals, again, they're lying, and they are knowingly lying.
What's your message to the people that are out there protesting for the rights of immigrants? You want to see those protesters continue to be out on the street?
LAPD wasn't helping until Trump got involved? Bullshit. Shut the fuck up. You're fucking retarded. What, the 911 line was fucking dead? Of course they were helping. There's video, there's news reports, there's like people were protesting, LAPD was showing up. Fuck off.
Protest these
I want
actions
them
by
to
the Trump
I
administration?
just want them to be safe. And I want folks to know that are thinking about going after, just be safe.
Do you support them?
Of course I support them. Protests are the foundation of this democracy. It's what makes this country great. And that needs to persist. And right now, people need to come out. But we need to be mindful of the toxicity of this moment. And then we have to deal with these elements that are coming in that are intentionally trying to take advantage of this in a way that only aids and abets Donald Trump. And this is what he was counting on. And we've got to push back, and we've got to be careful at this moment. I pray that people are cautious and careful at this moment.
We talked about this is in some measure about immigration, in some measure it's about democracy. Do you believe, some people have said that this is an attempt at distraction from maybe the matters with Elon Musk back in Washington? Why did this happen now, in other words?
He's the master of distraction. He's the commander of chaos.
What's your take on Gavin here? I think Gavin's messaging here, I think is perfect. I think in these 15 minutes, I don't think I've heard him say anything I disagree. I think he's been very focused. I think his criticisms have been very, these are the bad things that Trump has done. This is unacceptable. I think he's hit emotional tones, why are you raiding schools? I feel like Gavin here has been pretty much perfect.
That's what Donald Trump does.
What did the protesters think of Gavin Newsom? Oh.
Moves this direction, move that direction. Look, this guy has 90 days, 90 beautiful deals. How many deals? 0. In the UK, give me a break. Elon Musk is the sycophant of sycophants as it relates to this love relationship that he had with the President of the United States said it exactly right. We're likely to enter a recession the second half of the year because of the recklessness of this tariff policy under this administration. He's just saddled our kids and grandkids with $2.5 trillion of debt to give billionaires and corporations a tax break that they're not even asking for. Of course he's trying to distract us.
I have a feeling there's a pretty good chance.
True, and it works. And it works.
In the White House, there might be a television on, and he might be watching us.
I hope so.
Right now.
Yeah, he can learn something.
What might you say to him if I'll give you the floor. You have the opportunity. What you weren't able to say to him on that phone call or calls that he hasn't taken today?
Where's your decency, Mr. President? Stop. Rescind this order. It's illegal and unconstitutional. And I said it. I'll say it again. It's immoral. You're creating the conditions that you claim you're solving, and you're not. And you're putting real people's lives at risk.
It's like Hamas, basically, right? It's the same shit. Trump loves the chaos. It's like what they watched on January 6th. They needed to send in the National Guard, right? Remember, all of these same people, this is just for your own edification, personal knowledge, because it doesn't fucking matter, right? But Abbott, according to conservatives, was fully within his right to stand up to the President of the United States when it came to enforcing immigration law at the border, by the way, which is totally unacceptable. And Bowser was solely to blame for not making a proactive request to the National Guard to help during the January 6th riots, right? Trump had no way to do that on his own, even though he's literally the head of D.C., because it's Washington, D.C. But when it comes to California, now the governor doesn't matter. Now the president can be proactive. And now the president can deploy National Guard troops immediately, even when they're not really even needed. Right? It's all a joke.
This is a serious moment, and it requires serious leadership. And it's time for you to be a commander-in-chief of the United States of America. And I will have your back if you want to work in a relationship of trust and truth in the spirit of our founding fathers. But you come after poor kids, you come after families, we will do everything in our power to stand up and stand in your way.
Governor Gavin Newsom, what time are you filing the lawsuit tomorrow?
Very early in the morning. I'd love to do it tonight, but we got lawyers working on the brief.
All right. Governor Gavin Newsom, thank you for being here live on MSNBC. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
you think protesting the way you're describing even serves a purpose nowadays? It feels like a coordinated social media campaign could be equally effective and reach more people. Yeah, but there is no coordinated social media campaign. Like I don't know how many more times I can say the exact same thing. Like, what the fuck is his last name? What the fuck is the last name Newsom? I think they're working outside on the balcony or the windows or something, so I got friends outside, okay.
I gotta ask you something, man. What's up? So we've been, obviously the big narratives that we're gonna see tomorrow is like people saying that everyone's coming here to do just this. And when there's unrest and when there's unjust institutions, stuff like this is gonna happen. Yeah. But how would you kind of quell the fears of people who support the cause but see this and start to get second thoughts?
I mean, it's property damage at the end of the day. Yeah. Look, we're right here. We're not doing anything.
You can't say this shit. Don't do this shit. It's property damage. You gotta stop. I understand that like some of us are wealthy. Our dads are billionaires and our parents are wealthy. We've nepoed into great jobs, or you work software engineering jobs in San Francisco, and you have to stop this cringe shit. You can't just say it's just property damage, okay? Holy fuck, please stop saying this autistically stupid shit. Or I mean, they can because they don't give a fuck, but Jesus.
And I don't feel like I'm under threat. I'll tell you when I feel like I'm under threat. When the fucking cops are tear gassing us, when we're on the side of the road, even when we're not even on the road, you know? That's like, property damage at the end of the day is only consequential because it hurts humans, right? It hurts people's profit margins and therefore potentially their bottom line and therefore their livelihoods. But a lot of people worry about property damage for the sake of property damage in themselves. This isn't to say like this is, you know, all great, but But at the end
this is where like if you want to go like if you want to fucking jerk off Nelson Mandela and the South African shit, like this is where, and I wouldn't advocate for any of this. I love you, my FBI guy that's watching me, okay, for at least another week. I love you and I cherish you, and that's why I would never tell anybody to do anything like this. But like, imagine if the vandalism or property damage they engaged in was like disabling a gate outside of like an ICE facility so that the vehicles couldn't leave, right? It's pointed. You're not damaging humans. You're not destroying local businesses, and you're like directly protesting against and making incredibly inconvenient the thing that you feel like that. This would be a more it would be a more pointed and politically effective form of protest, and then couple that with, you know, I should only be here if, you know, California or whatever, like pair that with some kind of policy ask, and but
it's not like a terrifying situation at all. Seeing it on television obviously feels a lot different than just like being right here. When you're right here, you realize it's nothing to be that fearful. And ultimately, what is far more consequential and far more dangerous is the fact that ICE is unjustifiably kidnapping people, doing dragnets in neighborhoods, lying about how migrants are criminals, rapists, and then going after children and women and working families and people that are just at their job sites.
Yeah, I mean,
that's far more important to focus on than a bunch of people fucking, you know, breaking a Waymo. Like, I don't give a shit. Fuck Waymos.
No, seriously. And a majority of the people are here just because they believe in the cause. They're not here to like encourage us.
We're just gonna meme. Was there a particular reason why you mentioned multiple times FBI watching? Well, because when the guy showed up last time, the guy was like, first of all, he said a very funny quote. He's like, you know, there's no freedom of speech on the internet right now, right? Which I don't know what the fuck he meant by that. And he's like, well, you got to be careful because, you know, we have to be watching you for a while now. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what the fuck that means, but whoever you are, I love you and I appreciate you and I cherish you, okay? I hope you're having a fun day at work, buddy.
But this is always going to happen when there are unjust detainees and when there's...
You better not be ad blocking. That's all I got to say.
People that are just being removed from communities simply because of what paperwork they have.
Yeah, here's the thing. There's a social contract, right? We have institutions, we have laws, and we have this belief that if we exist in a society alongside others, that our institutions are going to take care of us, they're going to be just, they're going to be honest, they're going to protect citizens.
Dustin, you make it sound like right-wing solidarity is admiral. You mean admirable? It is. MAGA have no idea what they're letting themselves in for if they keep on furthering the political divide so recklessly. That's fine. They don't even know what they're doing, and they're still showing solidarity with each other. That's based. I am so proud that the left still embraces diversity of opinion within the voter base in the midst of a groupthink pandemic. You sound like the guy who's like at the gates of St. Peter on his bike saying like, well, I had the right of way. I mean, like, okay.
Thanks for being here. Oh, thank you. And when that falls apart...
What's the line to you between inconveniencing ICE and insurrection, like you said earlier? I think that if you are inconveniencing ICE in LA, I would have to go back and check, but I feel like you probably have hit all of the definitional parts of like engaging in insurrection. But I mean, I've said it for J6, and I'll say it for this now. Like insurrection definitionally can't be a bad thing. The country was birthed in insurrection and rebellion, right? The question is whether or not the insurrection you feel is justified. For a J6, I said if the election actually had been stolen, I mean, it makes sense why people would insurrect. I mean, if there was ever a reason to insurrect, it would be because somebody's stealing the fucking election. I mean, I get that. And I would say here, like, if you feel like the president is, breaching his authority as president to engage in some act that you think is unconstitutional or illegal, I mean, then you insurrect. You rise up against the federal government, and I'm pretty sure, again, I think it meets all of the, definitions, right? You've got a group of, I don't remember. I'd have to go back and reread. But it's like you're trying to circumvent like a federal, the enforcement of some federal law using a group of people, like you're intimidating or violent or whatever, right? When we unite like MAGA has done, it's civil war for sure. Okay, then let there be civil war, but do it sooner rather than later if you were ever going to do it in a video game. But I mean, like, otherwise you're just talking appeasement, right?
When that social contract falls apart, people understandably are disturbed. People are understandably angry, and they lash out.
I've only been following loosely, but I believe Trump can unilaterally deploy the National Guard according to an act of Congress for the purpose of defending insurrection. Do you think his action is legal or just wrong? I didn't see it. I don't know. If he can, then I just didn't. Maybe I missed it. But when I looked at what the president invoked, National Guard and Federal Service, it gives the three things to do it. It has to be one of these three things, I think. And then the president may call into federal service members and units of the National Guard of any state in such numbers as he considers necessary to repel the invasion, suppress the rebellion, or execute those laws. Orders for these purposes shall be issued through the governors of the states, or in the case of the District of Columbia, through the commanding general of the National Guard of the District of Columbia. This did not come through the governors. This came unilaterally through the president in contravention of the will of the governor. This is the explicit part of the U.S. Code that Donald Trump cited for the authority to deploy the National Guard here, 10 U.S.C. 12406. So unless I'm missing something or there's some other legal understanding that I'm missing, and I think Gavin has said the same, that the order didn't come through him, so...
These kinds of consequences of decentralized property damage is an inevitability, and it's yet another testament to the...
This is another thing, and I understand for people like Hassan who've never read about organizing or have never read about anything involving literally any organizer in the United States ever. Maybe he doesn't consider himself American, or maybe he considers himself, I don't know. But violence at protests is not an inevitability. It's either a defeatist mindset or that's a cancerous, subversive mindset where he's lying and he wants there to be violence and he wants people to instigate violence. He's pretending like it's inevitable. Violence at any given movement is not an inevitability. There are absolutely things that organizers can do to stop that. And that's a huge slap in the face to everybody that has been involved in nonviolent protesting in the past.
And when that falls apart, when that social contract falls apart, people understandably are disturbed. People are understandably angry, and they lash out. These kinds of consequences of decentralized property damage is an inevitability, and it's yet another testament to the collapse of this system. It's unfortunate. Nobody wants to. I guess people pay literally to do this.
Oh, hey,
they go to
up?
fucking.
How you doing?
What do you call it? They go to like a rage cage. I've done it before.
Yeah.
I've been to a rage cage.
Yeah, we're just live right now.
Break a car down with tools.
That's crazy. That we
these
just
guys are doing a great job with the skateboards. I'll be honest.
I'm glad you're out here.
I guess my point is, which is now becoming commonplace in this administration. And this is still nothing in comparison to the... Oh, that one's on fire too now. Okay, we gotta move away from that.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I mean, I could have said it better. Like, obviously people are here just because they care about their community. They're not here.
A lot of the civil rights protests were provoking violence, though. No, like the sit-ins and bus protests were in defiance of the law and knew it would provoke a violent response from law enforcement. Yes, but you have to let the other side do violence, not your side. When you do violence, you lose a lot of the moral authority and the right of the public watching. The goal is to always get the other side to get violent first, and ideally only.
Here to cause shit, and even if shit gets caused, it's to bring the voice louder. Like MLK has always said, right? It's like writing is the voice of the unheard. People are gonna do this shit as long as the government's unjust. Don't have an unjust government.
Yeah, it's like...
Are we hoping that Taco still holds firm when it comes to federalizing the Natty Guard and suppressing the riots? No, he'll probably get bored and he'll move on to the next thing. And that, like, these people, sorry, I didn't even somebody said I'm trying to reach out to. Like, we'll move on to the next thing in a week or two, I guess.
This is still nothing in comparison.
It's nice to see someone who I hate, like Hassan, protesting directly a part of the Trump administration, right? Maybe I'm just coping, maybe I'm retarded or something. I mean, are they? Has he called out Trump, or is he called? It sounds like they're just shitting on the federal government and then broadly America. I said before, I was curious if there's like a protest or like a speaker, how many times do they call out Trump and the Trump administration versus just the American government and America and ICE and America and
to the... Oh, that one's on fire too now. Okay, we gotta move away from that.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I mean, I could have said it better. Like, obviously people are here just because they care about their community. They're not here to cause shit, and even if shit gets caused, it's to bring the voice louder. Like MLK has always said, right? It's like writing is the voice of the unheard. People are gonna do this shit as long as the government's unjust.
But you should get video gamed. I don't know, never mind. I love that. I feel like if Martin Luther King could be brought back to life and then watch all the things that people say about him, I think he would kill himself immediately. Like, Martin Luther King tried so hard to police nonviolence and to organize around strategies of explicit nonviolence with the explicit goal of provoking violence from the other side through nonviolent action in order to farm clips, in order to make the other side look unhinged. Like, that's explicitly how those battles took place. And for people to just rip his quote saying, like, violence is the language of the unheard. They were talking about the Negroes in fucking the in the southern states that didn't have the same rights and privileges that people had. They couldn't work at places. They weren't allowed to live in certain neighborhoods. They weren't talking about a bunch of fucking college kids who, you know, like see mean things by capitalists on Twitter. Like the movement to try to say that, like, we have no choice but to come out here and do, like, it is the most abused fucking quote literally of all fucking time. But
don't have an unjust government.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's simple. The pressure valve in liberal democracies is supposed to be the election cycle. What's good? And you vote, you go out and you vote for your candidate, and your candidate's supposed to fight for your interests.
Says the guy who didn't even support Kamala Harris in the election. Okay.
And you're supposed to feel represented. But when that doesn't happen, people understandably get angry.
Like, what are they mad about? Like, now, the fun thing would be, if I was here, obviously, but like, go around and ask people, oh, just curious, did you support Kamala over Trump? Did you, 90% of the people, I bet, that he's walking around would say, no, fuck no. It's like, oh, well, then what the fuck are you mad about? Your shit is being represented, which is nothing, because you have no voice. And you deserve to have no voice, because you don't participate in the electoral cycle. I don't even know why you're out here protesting. Go home.
Where the fuck where is our government? We're in California, we're in Los Angeles.
You didn't vote for him. What do you mean, where is our government? You didn't want to vote for him. You didn't tell your audience to go vote for him. Like,
this is unacceptable. This many people are out here in the streets right now, not because they're mad about, I don't know, it's some dumb, irrelevant bullshit. Like, they're mad because their neighbors are getting fucking kidnapped in what is supposed to be a sanctuary city, what is supposed to be a sanctuary state.
What do you think sanctuary city and sanctuary state even means? He doesn't know, but...
And it also hits really weird when you're fucking standing in that crowd and you see some pig fuck wearing the latest gear. He's got fucking ceramic plates on. He's got a baton in his fucking hand.
Some pig fuck. Like, technically, the LAPD, like, you should ideally be on the side, to some extent, of, like, LAPD autonomy here, or California, it can't just be California Highway Patrol. They must have a different name for state police. Is it really just CHP? Like, because these are the people that, like, if push came to shove, like, might be the ones who are on your side against, you know, the National Guard. I mean, ideally, it would never come to this, but like, you can't just paint all of them with the same brush. But whatever. I don't know. This whole political situation, up to and including the second Trump admin, sucks to see. I remember the hope for the progress of the future and did 19 years in the army to support the future, and here we are. What the fuck? True.
And he's looking at you like a $10 steak that he wants to eat. And it's like, I paid.
$10 steak, motherfucker. You should at least say like pork chop or something. Jesus.
I paid your salary.
They slammed some 19-year-old girl down, like when we were down there, just for fucking waving a Mexican flag in their face. It's insane.
It's like, I pay. We all pay your salaries. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Well, like, we're getting tear gas. We're getting fucking flashbang. It's bullshit.
Yeah, I'm sure you saw it earlier today, but Trump said, he was asked, where's the line, where's the bar, until we start having even more action like Marines.
Yeah, but 3 months ago we were peacefully protesting and then they still fucking came 3 months later.
Trump said,
would you consider lighting a driverless car on fire a violent act or just destruction of property? For me, I would consider throwing rocks at police violence, but not lighting Waymos on fire. Bro, these little cars are just working as hard as they can, okay? Come on, are you serious? Do you ever see these little dudes? I remember walking home from a restaurant the other day and there was this little trucker. What was his name? He had a name. It was like Frederick or something. I remember he had a little name on his thing and he like he pulled up to the intersection and he sat there and he waited and then the walking guy came on and he started going across. A car tried to cut him off and he backed up and he kept going. What a little trooper. How are you going to attack how are you going to try to kill Short Circuit? How are you going to try to kill Johnny Five, okay? What's wrong with you guys? How can you attack the Waymos? Damn.
Today, I'm the one who sets the bar. I'm the one who decides when enough is enough. So,
3 months ago, we were all out here peacefully protesting. We even took over the freeway and everything.
Yep.
No one batted an eye. But now that actual trucks are here, people are fucking pissed.
Yeah.
It's a sanctuary city.
100%.
And illegal.
Yeah, we've been interviewing a lot of people's testimonies, so we're going to keep asking people why they're here, but I appreciate the words, man. Of course. Stay safe out here. Yeah. See you, Chad.
Can Trump legally deploy Marines? I'm not familiar in depth with all the laws surrounding the deployment of the National Guard. From the one that he cited in his EO, and then the law that I read, it doesn't seem like he has any authority to direct the National Guard in California right now, from what I've seen. So.
I'm still thirsty. No, I'm good, man. Thank you. Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, they're burning that third car.
Dustin, when you look at what the right did, what people like Charlie Kirk did, they found people who vehemently disagreed with them and radicalized them on social issues. My aunt is a Catholic nun who gets mad when I say a curse word like damn, and she votes the same way as the Nelk boys who have gambling sponsorships and fuck OnlyFans girls. The right realized it could use wedge issues to mobilize voters. Why can't the left do the same? The far left online uses wedge issues, but they use them to cut people out instead of including people in. Conservatives will take 10 of the most radically different people in the world they can find in a room and try to find the one thing that could get them to all vote for Trump. And lefties will get 10 of the most radically different people in the room, or the most similar people in the room who are all ostensibly on the left, and then try to find reasons why, as soon as they have their revolution, they'd execute the other 9. Like, it's fucking unhinged. It's retarded as fuck.
Should all back up out of here. Hey, you guys should back up that way. They're burning that third car.
Hey, don't bring that shit in. You're gonna get cancer.
Yeah,
that's probably not good. Should we go back there? Let's go back there.
Can you explain what a sanctuary city is for Eurotards? So in the United States, we have a federal system that has it so you have 50 independent state governments, and then they're broken down into cities and municipalities and districts, whatever bullshit. And then you've got your federal government. Generally, the federal government is in charge of federal things and state governments are in charge of state things. Things like immigration are within the purview exclusively of the federal government. So in order for the federal government to enforce immigration laws, they need some type of collaboration with the state in places where they don't have authority given to them, by ownership of the territory. So like the federal government, the United States government is in control of like the borders and airports and stuff. But for states, like in cities, those are state governments. The federal government doesn't have the authority, to like force them to cooperate. So in a place, but generally states will because they want to, right? So if you get you capture some dude and you can't verify his citizenship or whatever, then you might contact ICE or you might contact Department of Homeland Security. So like, hey, I think this guy's an undocumented immigrant. We'll hand him over. You guys can figure out what to do with him. But some places, sanctuary states, sanctuary cities, generally don't cooperate, at least not fully, with the federal government. It doesn't mean they're doing anything illegal. It doesn't mean that they're trying to circumvent or impede on the federal government by blocking them. It just means that in California, in LA, let's say you get arrested, they're not going to do like an immigration check on you because they're not trying to collaborate with the federal government to deport people. So that's what a sanctuary city or state is. But that doesn't make you immune from the federal laws. That doesn't make you immune from ICE or whatever. If ICE knows that you're going to be in some state courthouse, they can show up and they can arrest you and deport you. The local government can't stop them from doing that. They just don't necessarily have to collaborate with them to turn you over. If that makes sense.
And last time I was over there, they were shooting hella rubber bullets, like just hella. Like,
what? Oh, over there?
Yeah, more like down that way. They got all the horses and shit.
Oh, they got horses.
Did the rioting start before or after the National Guard got deployed? I think there were big protests the day before. But like the big rioting, I think started after the announcement of the National Guard. Updated June 9th. I think June 8th might have been when they were trying to like block highways and stuff. But I mean, like, you don't need but again, there was no, like, California wasn't saying like, we're completely fucked, we need the National Guard. Like, at no point did California say, we can't handle it, we're overwhelmed. Like,
they got horses, yeah. Dude, it's awesome. Wait, let's go take a look at the horses. Sure, what's that?
they were already burning down cars and tried to break into an ICE detention facility before the National Guard was called. Okay, sure. But I mean, like, people commit crimes and people do bad things. The National Guard doesn't have to show up every single time there are crimes being committed. Like, there are state police, there are city police. You don't need the National Guard every single time.
Oh, it's on, look.
What?
Would you be out protesting right now if you were in California with these fucking people? Fuck no. Hell no. Hell fucking no. These people look all fucking insane. I don't know what the fuck any of these people want.
People are shutting off the road, but it's
like, where am I? And I understand it was just like for like when the DNC was like in control of things. So obviously you have your 50 trillion fucking American flags and shit. Well, not here. These are our Kamala flags. Where the fuck are my audience shots? Wave some flags. It's good. It's good to be patriotic. We can love our country. That's okay. That should be the impetus for protesting. It's because you think your country can do better. Not because you hate the fucking country. Damn. Like, is there a single American flag? Is there even one? Maybe there is. Damn. I don't know what the fuck that is. Is that a Confederate flag or a British flag or Eritrea or what? I don't know what that is. Chile? Oh, is it? Is it Cuban? I can't tell. It's Cuban or Liberia. Damn, like, really? Not even a single? Is there one out here? Maybe somewhere? Damn, like, the fuck? So why is everyone losing their minds over the federal government doing what they are supposed to do? Because feelings? People are losing their minds because Donald Trump is positioning himself to be an authoritarian dictator constantly. He does it in every single facet of his administration, and now he's unilaterally deploying federal troops to California without the request of assistance to go and enforce his pet projects, because he's acting like a fucking authoritarian dictator in the United States. That's why some people at least are mad. People should be upset about that. It's fucking insane and unhinged and disgusting. Destiny up top. There were a couple American flags. Okay, maybe I just missed it. Like, why? Like, what is even the point? Like, this is why you need organizers, and this is why you need leaders. Like, these people should get their whipped, and then they should get kicked out. Like, that's it. It's so easy. You beat them up, and then you kick them the fuck out. People did do this during the BLM protests, by the way. Where was the video of that one guy? Streamer, trolls, beat up, BLM. Fuck. I'm not going to be able to find it. Oh, wait. Oh, my God. Did we find it? This is what you're supposed to do to these people. Maybe, if this is the right one. I think he was trying to meme and tell people to, oh, let's flip over this truck, is what they said here.
What? Are you kidding me?
Bro, why do I don't need this fucking Jesus.
You're asking us to flip over the truck?
Okay, no.
Are you kidding me?
We do not instigate because it comes back on the block.
You just asked us to flip over the truck?
No.
This man just asked us to flip over the truck with his camera out.
No. It doesn't come back on us.
He just asked us to flip over the truck with his camera out.
Who are you with?
Hold it down. Wait. I'm talking about this exact problem right now.
Yes.
Hold it down. Listen.
He's running.
That's how these people should be treated. There are tons of videos like this. We watched some live streams where people were doing shit like this. Get this fucking Fed poster, get this instigator out of here. Yeah, get him the fuck out. Because these people will destroy your shit. Because real organizers are people that are actually out here trying to do some kind of change. Like, they know this. These people are AIDS. It's the actual cancer that will kill your fucking organizing. Some guy in chat kept spamming this and I ignored him. I'm sorry. But we went over this in the past. I'm not going to be able to find it again. But like when Martin Luther King, I know we don't like talking about what he actually stood for. We just like to chip quotes from him about hating white moderates and rioting is the voice of the unheard. I'm never going to be able to find this. I don't remember what the fuck this was about. Fuck. They would talk about, like, before protests, like all these cucks you see are like, oh, protests always turn violent. They would talk about literally going up and down lines of people. Like, do you have a knife? Do you have a weapon? Do you have any kind of stick, pipe, anything? And they would collect things. They would confiscate things. You weren't allowed to go into any of these fucking protests with any shit like that you could get violent with. And that was an explicit choice. It wasn't by accident that a lot of these protests that MLK was involved in were nonviolent. Like, vast majority were nonviolent. This wasn't by accident. It was by design. But whatever. Fuck, I'm not gonna be able to find it. I'm not gonna find what we were reading for this, but didn't MLK literally bait cops into violence though? It is violent by proxy. I can't tell how. I think you're just retarded. I'm sorry, dude. Come back in half a year. I can't tell. The other side being violent is the point. You're supposed to be the victim and the other side is supposed to be violent. That's the point.
Totally fucking fine when they use the goddamn freeway as a staging ground so they can brutalize people up here. It makes no sense. It's all right when they do it. For a higher purpose. How you doing?
Good. You can see the Waymos? We're just over there.
I want to see the horses. shit. Is that a Waymo explosion? I think that might be the Waymo. Oh yeah.
Don't dream about that. I'm like, the battery's gonna go.
And that shit blows up. It's lithium battery fires they need specialized equipment to deal with. So
Fire truck.
I think that is, for the record, I do think that's fucking stupid to light a car on fire, especially an electric vehicle. Make no mistake. It's not good practice.
Democrats will lose midterms over this riot. Burning cars and Mexican flags perfectly validates the invasion by illegal thesis. We will lose armies in Middle America over this. I mean, it depends on how long. If this is over like a day or two, probably not. I mean, if it continues to escalate, then I mean, it just gives Trump, I guess, what he wants. So who knows?
Do your thing.
Where the horses at?
Party Trump, no president.
Somebody said Trump.
Where are the horses? You don't know?
How we can actually defeat this fascism. Here you go.
Okay, thanks. Oh my God, Chairman Bob! The chairman, he's still here. Seems like they're still tear gas.
Imagine if they met the National Guard with peaceful streets. I just wish that we could take some notes. Like, why not do like, this is what we need to heal America. Fuck. No, where's the actual commercial? Is this the actual commercial? I don't remember what the song or anything was. It's been too long. I don't know any of these people. I don't even know who Kendall Jenner is. I thought it was Caitlyn Jenner. No, that's Bruce Jenner. No, that's Caitlyn Jenner now. I don't know. Oh, my bad. All I know is we need more Pepsi. I haven't seen a single Pepsi at any of these protests. Boom. What's the steel man for supporting sanctuary cities at the risk of sounding flippant? Who's arguing illegal immigrants that commit crimes shouldn't be referred to immigration and why? What's the steel man for supporting them? Well, I mean, constitutionally, I mean, the states don't have to cooperate. If you're a big federalist and you think states should be able to do what they want, you can do that. You might think that they benefit you in some way or another. It's not your job to enforce immigration. If they made it into the country, then, you know, I mean, it's up to the people there to decide, right? If they vote on leaders and the people vote in a certain way that they are okay with being a sanctuary city, then they have the right to do it.
Gassing and rubber bulleting people over here. I'm gonna let someone who is
Don't make me lose an eye, man.
No, I know, I got you, don't worry. Nice to meet you, man. Hold on.
To me, it was feelings, and now the National Guard is the scapegoat used to escalate and blame. Before the National Guard was moved in, Trump was doing what was in his authority to do, even though it seems authoritarian. I don't know what exactly you're talking about. The big issue that I have right now is the National Guard related stuff. I mean, I'm neutral on ICE. If ICE is doing its job, then I mean, it's doing its job. I don't agree with immigration policy, but I mean, insofar as the president can enforce immigration policy, it's up to the president to do that. Obviously, the illegal enforcement is not good, and the courts are pushing back on that when they should, which is fine. I think people protesting that, I think, is also fine. But the National Guard stuff is a huge overstep, and from my understanding, from the legal authority granted to the president.
Low key need to pee. Me too.
Where can we do that in Los Angeles, California?
I see you guys.
Am Am I justified in feeling a little worried about this extreme USA bad? Scary to think my country could dissolve, but I'd still have my state, so it's not deathly worrying, but it's still sad. Yeah, I feel like that was just my very touch and go feeling, is that for it was the Weimar Republic after World War I and before the Nazi takeover, right? The big hallmark of, or no, not hallmark, the big predictor of like the fall of democratic rule and everything in Germany was probably the fact that only half the political parties at the time even supported the concept of the government, basically. Yeah. Empire. It was the Weimar Republic, right? Wait, fuck me, I forget. Yeah, 1918, 1933. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it feels a little bit like modern day Weimar. You just don't have very many people who defend the concept of democratic rule. That should be the scariest thing, but. Isn't it a problem we were having protests nonstop for years on end for different things? Well, the problem is just that they're not pointed in a particular direction. Like, what are we protesting and what is our desired outcome? Without answers to that, we don't have good leaders for any of these. At least on the left, we don't have good leaders for any of these things.
Listen, the devil works hard, but Chairman Bob's fans work harder. They're at every.
My bandana got fucked up.
What?
You hold this real quick. My bandana got fucked up.
Does Gavin Newsom have authority to order the LA police to stop the National Guard? Bro, I don't know. Who knows?
Oh my God.
It wouldn't be that though, because the National Guard is technically, it's the California National Guard, right? So it would have, but they would just be fighting over, like, who has the authority to control them, I guess? I don't know.
What's up, Chad?
Do you think it's a problem that Marines are being deployed, or is it the same as National Guard memes? I mean, I think it's the same. I think they're both really bad. The Marines thing sounds like an escalation, but I mean, that sounds really bad too, so.
Do you have any idea where there's a bathroom around here?
The Weimar Republic failed because half the parties were anti-democratic combined with a fledgling state that wasn't strong enough to resist that pressure. None of these losers here actually have the will to topple the government. It's not you don't need all the people to have the will to topple the government, though. You just need a small group of people to have the will to topple the government, and then you just need enough people to be ambivalent? Like, just not really caring much about it. I think ambivalent works. Or indifference, even more. Destiny, the Marines are way, way worse. This is a violation of posse comitatus. Is that a real word, or are you baiting me? I changed my mind, though. I think the Marines are way, way, way worse. And I'm going to guess what this posse comitatus means. I could be totally wrong. But the one thing you got to remember, I know that it feels like all police and all militaries and all everything are the same, but they're really not. The military is not supposed to be deployed against their own citizens. That's a very not good thing. People in the military don't like it, from soldiers all the way up to leadership. You do not sign up to police fellow Americans. You don't sign up to do policing operations in the United States. We have a National Guard for that. Yeah, so actually the Marines being deployed, I think actually would be significantly worse than the National Guard being deployed. 18 USC 1385. Whoever, except in cases and under circumstances expressly authorized by the Constitutional Act of Congress, willfully uses any part of the Army, the Navy, the Marine Corps, the Air Force, or the Space Force as a posse comitatus, or otherwise to execute the laws, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 2 years or both. Okay, so you're not supposed to use the military without an act from Congress? The Insurrection Act. Does the Insurrection Act allow you to deploy the military or just the National Guard? I don't even remember, actually. I shouldn't say the military because technically the National Guard, I believe, is part of I think considered part of the military reserve or something, right? If you invoke the Insurrection Act, you can deploy everything. Okay, well, Chatter said that, so I'm going to assume that's correct. Kind of irrelevant, but the military were deployed during the New York City draft riots during the Civil War. I don't think New York City was a thing in the Civil War, my dude. New York City didn't come until like the 1900s. Every word of this, quote, instead, the most dramatic public action the residents of Southern California could take right now would be to ensure that Trump's forces arrive on calm streets. The West Wing explaining this. Stop! Jesus. Okay. I was just kidding about the New York thing, Jesus. Instead, the most dramatic public action the residents of Southern California could take right now would be to ensure that Trump's forces arrive on calm streets. Imagine the reactions of the Guard members as they look around and wonder what exactly the Commander-in-Chief was thinking. Why are they carrying their rifles in the streets of downtown America? What does anyone expect them to do? Put another way, what if the president throws a crackdown and nobody comes? This kind of restraint will deny Trump the political oxygen he's trying to generate. He's resorting to the grand theater of militarism because he is losing on multiple fronts in the courts and he knows it. I don't remember what debate or what I was reading this for, but it had to do with I've mentioned this before on stream. It had to do with the New Albany movement. Am I getting these names right? Birmingham was the place where the dogs were eating the black kids, right? The MLK's movement was it not Birmingham or was it somewhere else? Where were the pictures of the kids that were attacked by the police dogs taken? Birmingham. It was Birmingham. Or maybe it happened in Selma. Is that super close by? Whatever. MLK's movement, I think, was losing steam because they tried to do protests. They tried to do nonviolent protests in some city, someplace in Georgia before Alabama. But the police commissioner there was incredibly strategic. And I think this guy was like, he was making calls ahead of time to all of the neighboring police precincts. And he was like, I need you guys to open up as many of your jails as possible. And when the protesters came in, when the civil rights people came in, the cops didn't attack anybody. They didn't beat anybody. They were peaceful. They just arrested protesters. They hauled them off to jails. And when they were full, they took them to a neighboring county and they put them in jails there. And that was it. And this was like, it was starving the civil rights people of a lot of the oxygen they needed to have their movement, carry forward into the hearts and minds of the American people, into the world. And once they got to Birmingham, they got lucky because the guy that they ran into there was an unhinged racist lunatic. It's not Tim Connor. His nickname was the Bull or whatever. And that police cop was like, we're going to fuck these up. We're going to get them. We're going to fuck them up hard. And then the civil rights people went even further and they were like, we're going to literally train fucking school kids to walk around, which MLK was initially opposed to because he was like, this feels a little unhinged, right? And they were like, sometimes you got to be unhinged. And then the police commissioner there playing into that and going unhinged and sicking dogs and shit on school children. Those were the TikTok clips that they needed. And then that fucking super field, those were international pictures that drew like condemnation from countries around the world for the behavior of the cops in Alabama there. So not to be an optics cuck, okay, but when it comes to protesting and organizing, optics are important. You guys need to understand that there are different, I say this a lot, I feel like I know. Most people understand me, most of you just don't type, okay? When I say things like, I don't care about optics or optics don't matter for me, I'm not an organizer, I'm not a politician, I'm not a political leader. Okay, so I don't care about optics. The only thing I care about at the end of the day is some autistic commitment to doing things that are like true and factual, because that's all I care about. And I can take big political hits or whatever, because I'm not running for office. I'm not a political leader. I'm barely even associated with the fucking Democrats at this point. But that's my standard. But I wouldn't call for like a political leader or an organizer or an activist to have the same standards as me. Everybody kind of has a different role that they play in. When it comes to protesting and organizing, optics are everything. It's incredibly important to have good optics because you want people to join your movement. You want people to sign up and to march and to do all these things. Like, these are really important things, you know? Destiny, it's easier to protest things like that because civil rights is more tangible than authoritarianism. I don't know if I agree with that. I think that authoritarianism is probably more tangible than civil rights. It just comes down to messaging. I think nowadays we just assume that civil rights makes sense because we've had it for, you know, however many, almost a century or whatever. Not even actually. That's weird to say, I guess. More like 50, 60 years. Jesus Christ. But I mean, it took a lot of the time to get people on board with it.
It's true.
That's your answer right there.
I don't want to fucking whip it out.
So do it like in a bottle, like Mitch.
No, I'm good. I think I won't do that. Well, I mean, we'll just keep going until the battery runs out.
That's the battery. The fucking battery for the backpack.
The poor Trump's wife.
Like, the scary thing is that we've been, like, if you ever believed in a God, we have been gifted such a wonderful opportunity to stress test our republic. It cannot be understated. No, it cannot be overstated how unfathomably fucking incompetent this administration is. They have, Hitler would be rolling in his grave, any authoritarian leader would be rolling in his grave and be like, oh my God, you have all the technology available to you. You have all of the popular support enabled to you, true popular support, not just like, you know, edging out victories and fucking coalition governments and coalition bullshit, right? You didn't even need your country to be on the brink of economic collapse or ruin from wars to win all the support of your people. Like, Donald Trump as an authoritarian leader has so much open pathway to him that he's just too stupid to act on. Like, in a way, it's like such a blessing that we have this opportunity to trial, like, would we survive some authoritarian takeover? And we're still, like, not even really, we're like barely passing the test.
This way.
Oh, minor 2-second shooting meme. I just wasn't thinking, and I just bought it because it looked cool, and I shouldn't have. My Trigicon scope has this guy. You should always just get the chevron. I don't know why the fuck you would ever buy this. I'm unhappy now, and this scope is like, what, like $1,500? Who? And it's like, well, you can aim at the top of the circle or the bottom. Like, no, fuck this. This is so cringe. Get the triangle guy. Triangle guy is so much cooler and better. The chevron. Get the chevron. I can't believe I got this. I feel so unbelievably cucked. What the fuck is this? Fuck me. Can you return it? Probably not. Ugh.
I don't know.
Oh, of course, like Slow Tokyo.
There's more protests down there?
Yeah, on that side right there, but if you want to go to the bathroom, you're probably going to have to go to a shop somewhere around there. Isn't it take you to the right? That way. Oh, it's down? Oh, I see.
Where is there a Hilton?
No.
Or a Doubletree?
Oh, right there, up there.
Where? Oh, that's so far. Dude, that looks close, but it's not close.
Fair. Sorry.
Assembly.
I'm trying to leave the area. You're not letting me. But there's more cops that way telling us to go this way. So where do we go?
Back that way. For the fourth time.
Okay. Saying things are legal.
Obviously, bad interactions are bad, and cops that are acting bad are bad. But like 99%, by the way, of cop interactions in these protests is literally just this: like, hey, you can't come this way, go somewhere else. It's like, okay.
Oh, thank you. No, they're just saying go back that way. Cattle. Oh, yeah. The only way out is through that, and then near the burning Waymos, and then through the left side.
Yeah.
Or at least that was the only way out. I don't know if that's still the only way out. They might just not let anybody out. In which case, I don't know what we do. It's so crazy, bro. Cops are fucking, they're such assholes. You know? Like, I wasn't even being mean. I was just like, hey, I want to leave. I want to piss. And the motherfucker can't even treat you like a human being. You know?
Yeah.
Very strange phenomenon. Under any other circumstance, with any other profession, with any other profession, there's no world where you just go, hey, can you help me out? And then the other human on the other side goes, fuck you. And like, it's his job.
The girl's at. The girl's up there.
What up? Are there any bathrooms around here? Do you guys know? Where do we go? We want to get out. No? Yeah, no, I don't want to fucking die with the cancer fumes. Yeah, Labubu's here. How do we get out of this?
I think to the left.
That was the only open avenue so far, but I don't know for how long. Maybe. I don't see any cops down this way. Just follow.
Did you try the scope yet?
What's up, man?
Yeah, when me and Connor went shooting a few days ago. I will say, we were trying to do the zero at like 100 yards. I don't know if there's blind, but I absolutely cannot see what I'm hitting on a target even at 100 yards. So we had to bring it into like fucking 25. You missed the funny. What was funny? Oh, thank God we've got clear bottled water. Wait, what's the company? It better not be on the boycott list.
Hi.
Okay, my flags suck. What is that? What's the blue one? Is that Mexico and Israel? Just kidding. Is it Argentina? Argentina flag. Oh my God. If I got that, I'm an actual god. Oh, Guatemala. Fuck me. Never mind. I'm not a god. I'm a retard. This one?
That's all.
Oh, no, because it's got 5 stars in the middle. Guatemala flag. Nope. South America. We should do. You know what? We need to add. South American flags. Wait, flag game Americas. Is there an Americas flag game? On, what is the website that I use? Is it this one? No, it's not this one. What the fuck? Is it Cetera? This is just for Central America. Bro, I don't know like any of these, no joke. I don't know what the fuck is the Tree of Life? I don't even remember these countries. What's the little one? One of these is Belize. And the other one is something. I have no idea what any of these are. I don't fucking know. Costa Rica. Palestine. Why did we just do this? I have no idea. Oh, Guatemala. This flag is kind of cool. Panama. I don't know what I'm just... Oh, Jamaica. America. Base, we take that. Wait, why the fuck does I feel like all the New World flags are so much cooler than the European flags. You ever notice that? Wait, what the fuck? I feel like the European flags, I really do feel like they suck. I'm sorry guys. Your flags are hella boring. But I feel like all the New World flags have like way more character. No offense, sorry. It's still early. We got a lot of Europes here. We got a lot of Europes here. What is your counter to the riots are the language of the unheard meme? Riots are the language of the unheard is a descriptive argument, not a prescriptive argument. Riots are the language of the unheard was MLK's response to the concerned trolling of the white moderate who thought he could put a timetable on the equal rights that black people were seeking in the United States. Riots for the language of the unheard was the response to white people saying, I don't understand why all these people are rioting. And then MLK saying, well, look what the fuck they're going through. What the fuck do you think is going to happen, dipshit? It wasn't an encouragement to riot. Riot was seen as an unfortunate consequence of being forced to live without the same rights as your white neighbors. That's what it was seen as. Rioting was always an unfortunate byproduct of substandard living conditions, not a goal to bring about some kind of peaceful change.
Awesome.